Hi everybody, my name is Jackie Clenson and today I'm here to compare and contrast a traditional hospitality company, Intercontinental Hotels Group, also known as IHG, and the disruptive startup sharing gig economy company Airbnb. And we're going to look to compare them in a number of different levels. First, the reason I became interested in the hospitality industry is honestly, it's just incredibly intriguing in that it's an ancient industry. It's one of the first industries that actually existed. It is, of course, a global industry as people are moving around the world and need different lodgings and places to stay. And it's a very emotional industry because what this particular industry is marketing is, in effect, a home away from home. So IHG, Intercontinental's group, they are a traditional hotel company. They really started back in 1777 with Bass Brewers, and that company grew. It merged with other companies. It bought and sold other companies, including Pan Am and Holiday Inn. So the history of IHG is quite old, even though the company was officially born in 2003 when it was finally spun off as its own company. It is absolutely huge with over 400,000 people in over 100 countries and over 5,600 hotel rooms and 15 brands all under one umbrella. So the scope is quite large for this particular company. In contrast, Airbnb is the disruptive startup that is a hospitality industry that doesn't own any hotels. They instead are an online platform that connects guests, people looking for lodging, with hosts, people that happen to have space that they're willing to rent out. And that space can be a room down the hall, an apartment over a garage, a freestanding house, and a variety of other types of lodgings. So they really are the connector between people that need space to stay and people willing to rent space to stay. It was founded in 2007 by Joe Gebbia and Brian Chesky back in San Francisco, and it wasn't initially very popular. It struggled, especially financially, for the first 2 years until they received venture capital in 2009. It's now worth approximately $38 million and is available in over 100,000 cities. Interestingly, they are facing some challenges because they were sort of a unique player in this industry. They kind of fell between the cracks in terms of regulations. So cities now are finally coming around to either updating their ordinances or creating new ordinances that deal directly with Airbnb. So first we're going to look at the value proposition. IHG is no doubt a customer intimacy type of a company. They are very people focused and they're very customer focused, and they really are interested in providing their customers a very customized, good experience. And they really have to do that in order to convince people to have them stay with their group again when they travel. Airbnb on the flip side is all about product leadership. They really created something that was new, different, cutting edge, and are always trying to push the envelope of what's available in the hospitality industry right now. And you'll see the value proposition throughout the presentation through the different examples that we're going to use for comparison. The first example that we're really going to look at is customer and segmentation variables. Both companies espouse there for everybody, but when you look at their annual report and their information, they really do have specific customer segmentation variables happening. IHG, it's obviously income segmentation. They take their 15 different brands and they divide them up between mainstream, upscale, and luxury brands, with mainstream like Holiday Inn aimed at middle class travelers, upscale like the boutique Hotel Indigo, which is aimed at slightly upper middle class travelers, and their luxury large hotels like Intercontinental, which are really aimed at their wealthy travelers. Airbnb, whether they like it or not, they are segmented by age, with over 60% of their customers being millennials, and they're taking a clue from IHG, and they've launched Airbnb Luxe, which is an income segmentation product that they are gearing towards more wealthier travelers who are looking for really upscale places to stay. Relationship building is, of course, very important in the hospitality industry. IHG has a traditional kind of loyalty program called the IHG Rewards Club. It's point-based, so the more times you stay at IHG, the more you use their credit card, the more you use their apps, the more points you earn that can give you perks when you stay or even allow you to stay for free at some of their hotels. It has been very successful. They have found that they have, in the past 4 years, they've increased loyalty revenue contribution from 4% to 43%. And loyalty members are much more likely to book direct, which is what hotels want. Airbnb, it's a little bit different because they have a lot more relationships that they have to manage. It's not just between the company and the guests. They also have to have relationships with the hosts, and the hosts have to relationship with the guests. So most of it is done through user engagement on the app, through their heart rating system, and through reviews that really empower people to become kind of part of the Airbnb community. But they are starting to do some specific loyalty programs. They have something called super hosts. So hosts that rent quite a lot and maintain a very high level in the rating system are given preferred status on the app, and they also get a larger cut of the revenue. And their super guests loyalty product is in development, so we don't know exactly what that looks like yet, but that's coming shortly. Both use artificial intelligence and big data. IHG tends to use multi-channel analytics, where they are really investigating and gathering customer data in order to make good decisions. One example is they're recording phone calls and using that data to improve service. Airbnb, basically, it is a born online, born digital product. Every time you interact with the product, you are creating data, according to Mike Curtis, who's their VP of engineering. And one kind of cool thing, the way they're using machine learning, is that the platform is going to rank results for guests when they search for a lodging in a particular area based on their past behavior. So every ranking for every person is going to be unique and customized. Key digital transformational event, IHG, they're in the process right now. They have just instituted IHG Concerto, which is a major technological backbone that's going to connect all the hotels with all the brands. And so you're able to follow guests as they move through brands. If I stay at Holiday Inn one day, Hotel Indigo the next day, these hotels are going to know who I am, what my preferences are, and be able to follow me. And they're going to use it to really kind of increase revenue and provide for good decision making. Airbnb is interesting because their transformational event was the guys in San Francisco couldn't figure out why Airbnb was really plateauing in New York City. So instead of writing more code or looking at data, they actually put boots on the ground and became guests in order to figure out what was wrong. And what they figured out was that the photographs were not that great that the guests took. So they instituted the Airbnb photography program in 2010, providing hosts free professional photography of their locations. And that has really increased bookings significantly. So their key digital transformational event was to get out from behind the computers and actually get into the world to find out what their guests were thinking and experiencing. Digital maturity, IHG, they're trying to become more forward focused. They have partnered with Amadeus in order to actually research where they think hospitality is going, and they're trying to really make their particular company much more forward thinking and looking at things like tech augmented hospitality, really customizing rooms, achieving cult status for a very large brand. Whereas Airbnb, because they have digital DNA, they are using their technology to make their organization a little bit more human, using live stream to connect all of their employees together, maintaining, tracking special events. So they're using technology to create more of a community in their born digital company. So I thought that was quite interesting. They both use analytics for personnel decisions. IHG has partnered with Cognisys in order to use data analytics to create a talent pool in the company and also connect them to potential employees. Airbnb has a people analytics department that uses Tableau data visualization software, and they kind of took it a step further. They use data analytics in the same way that IHG does, but they also made sure to specifically hire female data scientists to remove any kind of bias from their data analytics, and they did that through this very intense interview process. So in the end, what I find interesting about both these companies is they're very different, but they seem to be moving towards one another. IHG, traditional, large in scope, people focused, but they're now using technology to really improve customer relationship and push hospitality forward. They have their eye on where hospitality is trending, and they're trying to move that way. Airbnb, the disruptive startup that was born digital, part of the gig and sharing economies. Interestingly, they're using technology to really bring more humanity into their Born Digital product and create a really inclusive community in order to grow the business and be successful. So here are my references, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you very much. Good night.